Metal roofs are great in certain cases. Machine sheds, they work great because they're structural, so you can build the structure with less framing because the metal provides some type of structure. So that cuts the cost of labor time putting a building up. Metal's also a durable product. It lasts a long time. Depending on if you like the look, some people like it, some people don't. Some people think it looks too commercial, but there's ways to do architectural and make it look nice. We do offer standing seam and exposed fastener. I would say residential home, I would recommend standing seam type roof. That's where no fasteners are visible. And that way you can ensure a watertight roof system. You can't do that with an exposed fastener. The exposed fastener systems are your common like R panels or ag panels that have the screws. And the screws are the failure point. The metal's going to last. The metal's going to last you longer than the house. I mean, it's going to be up there forever, unless wind or something just rips it off the roof. You'll probably lose paint before the metal actually goes bad. But ultimately, your warranties on the metal roof are great. 40, 50 years. Paints are good 40, 50 years. Problem is the screws are 10 years. So that's not, 99% of the failure points of those roofs are going to be screws. If you installed every screw perfect, then you shouldn't have any leaks. If one screw is not installed perfect, misses the truss, misses something, it can be sealed, but it's not perfect. It could leak. And that's hard to do. I mean, everybody makes mistakes.
Everybody makes mistakes.
And you could screw up something underneath a hidden fastener roof. Not gonna deal with that. And that problem may never fester if it was a problem. Exposed fastener are gonna show up pretty quick because it's exposed. The main thing with exposed fasteners is backing out. You get the ice and thaw out here a lot in the Midwest, where it might freeze up and then it thaws and then it freezes up, all in a short cycle. That can work that fastener loose, unscrewing it slowly. Every time it freezes, it expands, and it's going to expand that washer, and it's going to pull on that screw, and over time, it will stretch, and it will work. Once it stretches, it'll work itself loose. I've gone on some and found them almost an inch backed out, and nobody's been up there to unscrew those screws. So water will penetrate, and if it's over an existing roofing system, yeah, people can say, oh, mine doesn't leak, and I've heard this story a lot. But it's because it's not being visible. It's leaking somewhere. They just don't know it yet.
You just don't know it yet, right?
And sometimes, I'll be straight. I've had a metal over shingle roof on a previous home in another part of the country. And I bought it that way and it had no leaks. And it had been on there 20 years. So that doesn't mean anything. It could still be leaking. It's just the leaks are going to be underneath the metal on the shingle roof and may never show up inside the home. So. But that's not your standard installation. If we install a roof, we're going to tear off the roof down to the decking to ensure there's no issues underneath. Plywood, underlayments. We don't want a roof over rot. So when we do metal, residential, you want standing seam. Machine sheds all day. Walk in any machine shed, you're going to see a drip or two, unless somebody sealed them differently or did something different, but you'll find leaks. Cost can be, I'd say your average standing seam, which is your hidden fastener roof, is going to be about double for the most part. If the roof is a shingle, it's a $10,000 roof, you can probably expect $18,000 to $20,000, almost double the price. A $30,000 roof is probably close to $60,000 by you figure metal, labor, logistics to get it there. So that's kind of average. Exposed fastener is a little bit less. Probably if it was $10,000 for a standard shingle roof, you might be $16,000, $15,000 for a metal exposed fastener. And it's going to be dependent on how many valleys. That's where you start getting a lot more cost if there's a lot more metal cutting on job site. If most of the metal can be ordered to length, it cuts the cost down quite a bit. So you don't really save that much on a shingle compared to metal. But when you start getting the valleys and different elevations, you start getting a lot more metal trim work. It's going to add up the cost to install.